guys, welcome back. We're now going to be doing chapters 23 and 24 together, as they're a little bit shorter chapters. Now remember to pay close attention to the story, and remember at the end you're going to have to answer questions with complete sentences and restate the question. Let's get started with chapter 23, Balloon. Eric had spotted a barrage balloon earlier when coming out of the underground station. It was one of those hundreds flying over London. Barrage balloons might have looked like airships, but they were unmanned and tethered to the ground. They had netting or cable stretching down from them to a military truck on the ground. They bobbed around in the skies over London to make it more difficult for the enemy aircraft to enter the airspace. It meant that Nazi bombers and fighter planes had to fly high over the balloons to avoid them. This made them an easier target for the British anti-aircraft artillery, or big guns, on the ground. If the planes flew too low, then the guns couldn't spin around fast enough to hit them. Higher in the sky, the guns had much more chance of shooting them down. "So talk me through this plan of yours," said Sid. "We still," began Eric, borrow a balloon and fly it over to the zoo. Once we reach the gorilla enclosure, we open the top of her cage and pluck Gertrude out. Then make our escape across the sky." The old man stared into space, lost in thought. "Uncle Sid?" said the boy. "Uncle Sid! What do you think?" "I think it's the least worst idea we've had," he finally replied. "That means it's the best." "Yes, I suppose it is," said Sid, a flash of worry on his face. "But how do we know it's going to work?" "We don't. Not until we try." "Good answer. Now let's work out how we could fly a barrage balloon." Upstairs in his bedroom, Sid had a collection of books about the First World War. In a book of old German war machinery, there was a chapter on Zeppelins. These were the airships used as bombers and scouts in the First World War. Unlike barrage balloons, Zeppelins had engines and a gondola underneath for a pilot. That's because they were designed to fly rather than just float in one place. Barrage balloon, Zeppelin. However, Eric was sure that there must be some way of piloting a balloon, perhaps using the truck on the ground to which it was tethered. The problem was that time was running out. He looked at the clock on the kitchen wall. It was now 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There were only a few more hours until darkness fell. The zoo director, Sir Frederick Frown, had said that Miss Snarl was to put Gertrude down as soon as the zoo had been closed for the night, which was 5 o'clock. If the pair were going to save the gorilla from a lethal injection, they had to act fast. Chapter 24, Downed Bomber. Leaving all the animals in the care of Bessie, Eric and Sid grabbed the map of the zoo from the wall and went off to find the base of the barrage balloon. Keeping it in sight at all times, they traveled through the streets, round the back of the gardens and along the wasteland. On a large common, or mile or so from Sid's house, squatted a military truck over which a big gray balloon was bobbing about in the sky. The balloon, shaped like a fat fish, was attached to the truck by a set of cables. On closer inspection, the pair could see that the back of the truck was weighed down with bricks. "Bingo," said the boy. "Bingo, bongo, bungo." "Whatever now?" demanded Sid. "If we take enough brick out, then—" "The balloon will lift off and take that truck with it." "Exactly." "But how are we going to steer it?" "The truck's got a steering wheel." "I know that, silly. But that's to drive the truck, not the balloon flying through the air." This was a tricky one. If a Zeppelin used motors to fly from one place to another, then the barrage balloon needed one too. Not far from the balloon, Eric could see some children playing with something on the common. It was only when he stopped and stared that he realized what it was. "Look!" he cried. Sid squinted. "My eyes are not what they were." "Come on," said Eric, and he led the man by the hand towards it. Clink, clink, clunk. A Luftwaffe bomber plane must have been shot down during the night and crash-landed on the common. The crew were nowhere to be seen. No doubt they had been hauled off for questioning by the police. Now a giant plane had been taken over by some local teenagers who were loving their new playground. They were climbing in and out and all over it, having the most marvelous time playing war games. On seeing Sid approach, one snotty-nosed boy shouted, "Buzz off, you old cogger! We're having fun!" "Yeah, shove off, Grandpa," added a spotty one. "Sling you a hook and take that big-eared twerp with you," mocked another. "Ha ha ha!" They all snorted together. Sid said nothing. Instead, he leaned on Eric's shoulder and yanked off one of his false legs. Clunk! "I've got a good mind to boot you up the bottom," shouted Sid. "Agh!" screamed the three terrified oinks before fleeing off the common. "Always looks a treat," said Sid, popping his leg back into place. Clink! "I must remember to try that myself," joked Eric. "Shame mine don't come off." "I'll have to remember not to take them both off at once, or it can backfire." "This is a beast," said Eric, admiring the flying machine. "It's a Junkers," observed Sid, "designed only to bring death and destruction. I would like to shake the hand of whoever shot it down." As Sid spoke, Eric paced around the craft. "There must be a part that we can use," he said. "What do you mean?" asked Sid. "I wish I had paid some attention in science class now, but there must be something we can take from this Junkers which could help us fly that," he said, pointing up to the truck with the barrage balloon floating above it. "Bongo!" exclaimed the man. "It's bingo!" corrected the boy. "Bingo, bongo, bungo, bango, and bango. That's the clever idea." "Thank you." "Sadly, I didn't pay much attention at school either, and everything I learned I forgot years ago. But you were right. There must be something we can use." Our heroes went to work. They scoured the inside and outside of the bomber, trying to find anything that wasn't stuck down. There were some flying goggles, a helmet, a propeller from one of the wings, 3 parachutes, unopened, and even a length of rope that might come in handy. "What's in these?" asked the boy, pointing to some large cylinders. Sid read the word printed on the metal out loud. "Sauerstoff?" "What does that mean?" "It's something in German." "I guess that, but what?" "Only one way to find out," said Sid. With that, he turned the cap on. Gas hissed out fast, all but blasting the boy off his feet. Whoosh! "Whoa! What is that?" asked Eric. He sniffed but couldn't smell anything. "Air?" he guessed. "Oxygen!" exclaimed Sid. "Of course, for the crew if they had to fly high where the air is thin. If it shoots out fast like that, maybe we can use it to power the truck along," reasoned Eric. "Maybe. Let's grab as many as we can carry." They hurried back across the common to the truck with their stolen treasure. At once they went to work, strapping the cylinders to the sides of the truck and fixing the propeller to the front grille. The pair weren't sure whether the propeller was going to actually help the truck fly, but it looked cool. The parachutes were packed in the back of the truck, in case of emergency. As the sun hung low in the winter sky, they began the process of taking the bricks out of the back of the truck that were weighing it down. It was quite a task, as there were a few hundred or so bricks, and they had to take them out one by one. If they weren't too fast, there was every chance the truck could sail off into the sky without them, never to be seen again. After taking a good 200 or so bricks out, Eric spotted one of the wheels of the truck lifting off the ground. "Quick, Uncle Sid, jump in," he ordered. The old man did as he was told and heaved himself into the driving seat as fast as he could. "I need you to act as a counterbalance," called Eric from the back end of the truck. Then, on his own, he took out brick after brick. "The bonnet is lifting off the ground," called Sid from the front. The whole truck had now been tipped up, and the bricks all slid out of the back at once. Clunk, clunk! With no bricks at all weighing it down, the truck soared up into the air without Eric. Swoosh! And that's going to do it for chapter 23 and 24 of Codename Bananas. Now remember, if you didn't catch one of the answers to the questions you're going to answer, go back and re-listen to the story. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Make sure you use those complete sentences, and we'll see you next time for chapter 25.